All workers get 3 or more weeks holidays per year depending on the hazard to health in their occupation. Much use is made of the spas, health resorts, hill stations and seasides. Hydrotherapy and various other methods of physical therapy are highly developed and freely used. Physical culture is almost a craze. Building of houses and flats is in progress everywhere, yet there is still a great shortage. Old houses and most houses in rural areas have little in the way of sanitary conveniences of the modern type. House rent on the average is about 5% of the worker's salary. An advance of money, equivalent to 1.5 times a year's pay, is given to those who wish to build their own homes. This amount is repayable in 5 years, and no interest on the sum is charged. Organization of the medical profession, administration of public health, and status of medical sciences in the Soviet Union, page 50, para 2-5. Every man at the age of 60 and every woman at the age of 55 gets a monthly pension of 40% of the average pay per month of his or her working year. If an individual is willing and able, he may take on any other work, and earn a full salary, in addition to his pension. Organization of the medical profession, administration of public health, and status of medical sciences in the Soviet Union, page 51, para 1. Large sums are being spent in the USSR for social insurance, medical treatment, sanatoria, health resorts, rest homes, pioneer camps and outdoor recreation. In addition, children's clubs, sporting areas, ski bases, bathing beaches and physical culture schools are being constructed and equipped from social insurance funds. From year to year, the Soviet government increases the appropriations for workers' social insurance. According to the state budget of the USSR, expenditures for social insurance were 10.4 billion rubles for the first 5-year plan, 32.5 billion rubles for the second 5-year plan, 35 billion rubles for the third 5-year plan and more than 80 billion rubles for the fourth 5-year plan. The 1953 budget was 2.6 times bigger than the 1940 budget. For the fifth 5-year plan, an increase of 30% over the original allocation for social insurance appropriations has been approved in accordance with directives of the 19th Party Congress. The state social insurance budget for 1953 was approved at 22.7 billion rubles, an increase of 1.3 billion rubles over the 1952 budget. 1/10 of this budget was to be allocated for maternity benefits, while 596 million rubles were to be allocated for rest facilities for workers' children. In 1953, 2,390 million rubles were to be spent from social insurance funds for building and equipping trade union sanatoria. More than 200 million rubles were to be allocated for restoration, repair and equipment of cultural and educational institutions, physical culture installations, and tourist bases, and for organization of tours and trips to alpine camps. 1,476 million rubles for workers' rest facilities. In addition, 15 million rubles were to be allocated for paid transportation to health resorts. Altogether, a total of 42.9 billion rubles was allocated from the 1953 state budget for social insurance and social security, which provide funds for pensions, medical and sanatoria treatments and temporary work disability. In cases of old age or disability, the Soviet worker receives a state pension. This pension becomes effective for men who have reached 60 years of age and have served 35 years in Soviet industry. For women, the age is 55 years of age with a 20-year service record in industry. Pensions for disability are granted to workers after examinations by labor medical expert commissions and are granted for full or partial disability. Invalids who have suffered from industrial accidents or trade diseases are paid up to 100% of their previous earnings. Social insurance and public health in the USSR 1954, page 1-2. Extensive development of medical services at state expense. Soviet public health plays an important part in raising labor productivity and promoting hygiene in industry and agriculture. At the same time, widespread measures are taken to improve living conditions, and here, too, the Soviet health services are a factor of major significance. These measures include housing and municipal development on an unparalleled scale and the improvement of amenities in populated places. The huge state appropriations for social insurance benefits, pensions, cost-free or part-free accommodation at sanatoria, holiday homes and children's establishments, aid to mothers of large families and unmarried mothers, free medical aid and other measures aimed at improving the well-being of the working people, have had a beneficial effect on the health of Soviet citizens. In 1954 alone, the state spent 146,000 million rubles on allowances and other social benefits. For the first time in history, society free of exploitation of man by man, is putting all its efforts into harmoniously developing man's personality, physical and moral strength and capacity, and into bringing up a healthy generation. Health protection in the Soviet Union, page 10. The system of Social Security offers a wide range of benefits to most of the non-agricultural population, plus health insurance for farmers. During the 1960s, Social Security expenditures increased 600% as coverage of the population was extended and benefits were enlarged. These expenditures totaled 19.5 billion dinars in 1970. Approximately 37% of the expenditure in 1970 was for health care and 28% was for old age and survivors' benefits. National Intelligence Survey 21, Yugoslavia, The Economy, page 28, para 2. Communal welfare services undertake the rehabilitation of juvenile delinquents and care for orphans. Maintaining institutions for young people and supplying school lunches are other important forms of social assistance. The most important establishments for children are the daycare centers for children of the employed. In the past, families in the upper income brackets have been the main benefactors because parents must share the cost of these centers. In February 1972, however, the Assembly of Self-Managers in Zagreb, in the Republic of Croatia, went on record in favor of reforming the child care center system. Under their proposal, parents with low incomes would not be charged for placing their children in nurseries and kindergartens. National Intelligence Survey 21, Yugoslavia, The Society, page 38, para 7. Payments for temporary disability and illness are increased to the amount of the full salary of all who have been employed for the minimum prescribed period. From 50 to 75% of the regular salary is paid to those who have not been employed for the minimum period. This is the same amount that the former law allowed to all those insured. The new law authorizes full pay for workers with prescribed length of service. Payments for pregnancy and childbirth continue for 90 days and the payments are increased from 80% of the regular salary, as provided by the old law, to 88%. Subsidies for outfitting the newborn child have been increased to 2,000 dinars from the 800 dinars formerly paid. Subsidies for better food for the mother and newborn child are increased to a total of 3,600 dinars for 6 months from the former total of 720 dinars for 12 months. Bonuses for children are increased from 175 to 500 dinars for each new child. In addition, one-time subsidies of 3,000 to 10,000 dinars are paid at the time of birth of the third child and for each child afterwards. New Yugoslav Law on Social Security for Blue and White-Collar Workers, page 5-6. Since World War II, Yugoslavia's social insurance system has been vastly improved and extended into an all-encompassing insurance system that includes health insurance, old age and survivors insurance, disability insurance, children's allowances and unemployment compensation. Total expenditures for health insurance alone were the equivalent of US $452 million in 1968. Before World War II, about 17% of the population was covered by benefits. By 1963 the regime had extended some form of social security to nearly all the people and about half were covered by full social insurance. National Intelligence Survey 21, Yugoslavia, The Society, page 35, para 6. House rent on the average is about 5% of the worker's salary. An advance of money, equivalent to 1.5 times a year's pay, is given to those who wish to build their own homes. This amount is repayable in 5 years, and no interest on the sum is charged. The earning capacity of workers varies widely, depending on the skill and educational standards required along with industrial hazards. There is a basic pay minimum of 500 rubles, but the lowest paid workers usually belong to cooperatives where they get their food and other necessities relatively cheaply. Organization of the medical profession, administration of public health, and status of medical sciences in the Soviet Union, page 50, para 6-7. Cuba's economic shortfalls have been offset partially by its socio-economic and political achievements. These achievements include, an egalitarian redistribution of income. The Cuban economy, model for third world development? Page 2, page 18, para 4. There were 8 pay grades with the highest rate of pay only about 3 times higher than the lowest. Soviet wages and wage differentials, page 8. https://www.cia.gov/readingroom/docs/ciardp 79010938004000100031.pdf. Yugoslavia had a ratio of highest to lowest income rate that was similar to the USSR. The highest income only about 3 times higher than the lowest. Pay schedules and income taxes in Yugoslavia 1951, page 2, para 2. Page 2, para 7. Socialist countries have very generous social security systems and subsidies that help to ensure everyone's needs are being met. People are expected to work, but if they cannot because of motherhood, injury, sickness or old age, the state will pay to take care of them. These countries also often have relatively low economic inequality, with the highest income only about 3 times higher than the lowest. although there has been less emphasis on this since the 1980s.